Hi, my name is Parker Howard. Today I'll be talking to you about transracial and interracial adopted young adults. Now the main argument of this article is talking about if transracial and interracial kids feel like they are discriminated because of their adopted parents. And that's what I'll be talking to you about today. Now the information I got came from an article by Fiona Williams. The article came out in 2000. The article's name is Adjustments of Transracial and Interracial Adopted Young Adults. Now, this journal, it came out of a journal, and it was called Child and Absent Social Work Journal. Now, the hypothesis that they tried to discuss during this research was, has your child ever been discriminated against because of his or her race or ethnic background? Has your child ever displayed any discomfort over his or her racial ethnic background? And those are the two things that they tried to figure out during this research. Now, the research was spread out between 18 years, and there was 3 surveys. And they asked the parents of the adopted young adults all these questions during this time. And there was 787 adopted young adults that were asked. There was 58 African Americans, 442 Korean and Vietnamese children, 46 Colombian born, and 96 white children. Now this all came out of the GAS, known as the Global Assistance Scale. And these kids were picked at random. They weren't handpicked. They were picked from social work areas or people that knew that they were getting foster care from. Now, the researchers at first wanted to make sure that there was no biased decisions, so they had separated the children, and this was spread out between 18 years, so the information didn't get cloudy or anything. Now, the 2 things that they were discussed during this research was psychologist and biologist, and they were trying to see if the psychologist was trying to figure out if society had a big impact on these young kids' lives, or was it bio, and that the mother or the father of these children was the main cause of why these children felt like they were discriminated personally or in the community. So the social aspect was if they were born in a bad neighborhood, or they had bad living conditions where their parents adopted them for money, basically. So they found some cases where that was true, where these kids were looked upon as money cows, that they were getting a check coming in. And the bio was looking at the parents, the birth parents of these adopted children, and they were looking at them to see if they were doing drugs at the time or anything of that significant matter, where if they had abuse in the family, if the child would carry on those traits and those things. They did find that the social aspect was that if you're born in a bad neighborhood, you're going to pick up bad traits. It's all violence is all around them. So they were trying to figure that out. Now, going into my personal background, I'm adopted and I am transracial. So when I was adopted by an African American family, and I'm half white and half black. So I got to see the broad spectrum of what both cultures is. I grew up in a good neighborhood, but I was also born in a bad neighborhood. So I have both the spectrums of where they were looking for in this research was. I had both aspects of their information. Now there was another article that I looked up that had something to do with it, but it had to find different research methods of this. So I picked the article, and the article's name was When Step-Parents Adopt, Demographic Health and Health Care, Characteristic Adopted Children, Stepchildren, and Adopted Stepchildren. And this article was by Matthew D. Dunlett. And this article came out December 10th, and it was out of the Adopted Quarterly. Now, I discussed in this of how I could change their research or their methods, and another one was ask more questions throughout the survey, spend more time on individual children, because they found out that if you're born African American or a different race from what your adopted parents are, you're not going to have the same culture, pride that you would have, and you would feel lost. And mostly growing up, if you're a mixed kid like myself, you feel lost when you're a young age because you don't know who to look at yourself as. You don't know if you should say you're white or you're black or you're anything in between, if you're Chinese or Vietnamese. And these is what these children are feeling growing up because they didn't have the cultural aspect of it. So the other article that was talking about was when a step-parent comes into the household they already were adopted, and the step-parent had different views. And then that was when it all messed up because they were coming out with different ideas of how to raise a child that's already been raised, was getting raised by a single parent, and another parent came in and had different views. And that was what the articles were talking about. And the main point was if these children, African American children or any other children, felt lost, and that was a true fact. And that's all I have.